Hello, visionary woman. Welcome back to the podcast. I know that you're growing and you're evolving and you're constantly coming up with really great new ideas and new dynamic offers. But I also know that it can feel like you're treading water, dog paddling, trying to get everything out there while the cohesion and the overall vision for your brand is feeling like it's a bit stuck at the starting blocks. So if you're feeling that, if that resonates with you, this episode is for you. And I want to let you know I've been there. I've experienced it as well. And it's important to have a reality check and realize that if you can feel it, then your audience can feel that disconnection as well. And they can feel it before they can really articulate it or discuss with you what's feeling off for them. So I'm sitting down recording this podcast. I have a little dog in my lap in a blanket and another little dog in a bed over there. So I apologize if there's any snoring. I am recording this at the end of a 1-month break from my business. So I've actually been offline for most of the month. To be honest, I've dipped in once a week because I've had some ongoing branding projects. But other than that, I've been offline for a month. And I would love to do a full episode on that. Like, how do I actually do that? How does that work? How do I set that up? And I just want to share it with you. If you want that episode, let me know. But I want to share that's possible. And I just think so many people think that the way to have a profitable business is to just be like constantly plugged in, chronically online. I have no personal boundaries, nervous system through the roof because they're constantly online. And that is just absolutely not the case at all. And my business, my life is a indicator of that, is a signifier of that. In this month, I have personally been paid about $21,000 to $22,000. That's not sales. That's me personally getting that paycheck. And a $20,000, $22,000 month when you're offline, that's pretty juicy. And that's what I know a lot of my audience are interested in. Now, you're probably like, why didn't you go traveling? I actually did have a trip booked. Unfortunately, at the very start of my break, my partner came home from a trip and was carrying a virus, which he gave to everyone, including me. So I was really knocked out for 2 weeks, which just sucks so much when you've organized this break and you've organized this trip and you're so sick that you have to reschedule it. But I do think sometimes when you get sick, it feels like a bit of a detox, a bit of a clear out. And on the other side of it, you can feel a lot more clarity and even like a lot more oomph, like with exercising and stuff like that. So I'm feeling good, a little bit disappointed that I had to reschedule that trip, but love having that break. And I'm just sitting here and I've just looked over at a little pile of books. If you are not in my free book club, I really suggest you join it. If you're jumping in here listening every week, why not join the book club? It's totally free. We read a new business book every 2 months. But the reason I'm thinking of that is the 3 books that I think we've read 4 books this year, actually. The 4 books that we've read this year have been like every single one of them has absolutely hit. And I've got all these tabs in them and all this stuff that I need to action from them. And taking information from each of those books has drastically changed my business. And the book that we're reading right now is all on sales skills and negotiating, and it's really landed for me, especially a couple of pieces around communication. And it can just be so hard to know the best ways to communicate, especially when you're working with a lot of different types of people. And this has really nailed things in for me, and I think is going to be really supportive of my business. And it's totally free apart from buying the book. So I'll pop that link in the show notes and jump in. You just get an email every 2 months. It's a vetted book. We're actually going to read Emma Greed's book next, which I think will be really juicy. I pre-ordered that ages ago, so it's been sitting there waiting for us to read it together. All right. So I want to talk about some of the subtle signs that your business has outgrown your current brand, which can make you feel like you're treading water or you're putting yourself out there and it's just not going anywhere. When I think back to when I professionally rebranded, I would say the biggest signs were that I was reinventing the wheel with every time I had a piece of content, I would design something new. So everything looked pretty messy. I would say, honestly, the easiest way to tell this is if your content looks like a personal scrapbook. If it looks like a personal collage of all this different stuff and each piece of content is good, but they're not homogenous and they're not cohesive and they're not linking together. And you also feel like you need to redesign everything, not only every time you post, but maybe every month or so, or every 2 months. Maybe you see someone else's content and you think, oh my God, that looks so much better than mine. I'm going to do a big overhaul. So feeling like you need to overhaul, also feeling like you're not really proud to be seen and show up is a big sign of this. And I would say that I'm going to do a whole episode on how professional branding really positively impacted my confidence. And I also see it in my clients, people who've been really struggling to be consistent at all for like 2+ years. And then as soon as we rebrand, give them social media templates, teach them how to automate creating content, all of a sudden they're finally being highly consistent. They're getting those results. And doing that increases your confidence in a way that you can't even imagine right now. So I will do a whole episode on that. But if you're feeling like a bit of maybe you haven't even consciously acknowledged it yet, but unconsciously or subconsciously, a lack of confidence when it comes to your business, or just feeling like it's not as professional as you know it should be, or you want it to be, or it doesn't represent what you're doing as well as you know it should or it could. I would say those are some other signs that you've outgrown what you're currently using. And a lot of the time, when people come to me, they actually don't have a brand. So it's not that they've outgrown their current branding, it's that they've gone as long as they can without one. And you can go a while without one, but if you really want to scale, it's really, truly non-negotiable. Obviously, when you have these symptoms and these subtle signs going on, that sense of misalignment, not feeling quite right, but not hating it, and it's good enough and it's getting by, it can really cause you to hesitate in your content or to feel like you need to become someone else in order to post consistently. When you have a professional brand that's well researched, strategic, and also wants to honor your essence as the founder, it's going to feel incredibly easeful and aligned for you to be showing up, gaining traction, gaining visibility, and also this confidence piece of a huge part of an issue with my clients is that they're a bit too scared to actually ask people to buy what they're selling. Their what I call active selling skills are quite lacking. They are great making content, they're great giving value, they're great showing up. They look great. The way that they're speaking about it's great. They're connecting to their community. But when it comes to actually saying, hey, you should buy this, that's when they struggle. They'll wriggle around any way they possibly can to get around and avoid actually actively selling. When you have a professional brand, you feel backed by your brand and you feel proud of your brand. So it feels completely natural to ask someone to buy. Of course, I would ask someone to buy because I have this incredible brand, this incredible product or service, and it makes total sense that I should be pitching it out there. And if things feel like a little bit just not totally cohesive, that can cause more hesitation than you realize. And when I look back at myself at that stage in my business, I think I didn't want to go on TikTok. I avoided TikTok like the plague for the first 2 or 3 years that it was really popular. And that honestly was a brand problem. That was because I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to make it look right for my business. I didn't know how to use it in a way that was aligned with my business. If I just had a brand and TikTok templates, which is what we include in all of our projects, that I would just hit post and I'd be able to show up there. And there's one last piece to say it is probably time that your brand needs to catch up with you. And that is that maybe your brand looks okay. I see this with a lot of DIY brands. I see this a lot in the wellness space where people have DIY'd their brand and like, it looks nice. Genuinely, it looks nice, but it doesn't have gravitas. It doesn't have professional authority. It doesn't have that established feeling. It feels like something that's being created off the back of a current trend or what they currently like, and therefore it looks nice, but it's not unconsciously anchoring in how trustworthy and the kind of results that you get in your services or the value of the product that you're giving. And a professional brand can really take it from looking nice to, oh, this is someone who I need to take seriously, and make you become a little bit more unfuckwithable, being viewed as a leader and an authority body rather than a pal or someone that I can be friends with. And if you're wondering about that, like a really easy way to tell if you're in that place of like your brand is friendly and personable, but not authority building and therefore conversion or sales led, is if you have a lot of people in your industry that follow you doing the same thing as you and that maybe compliment you, but you're not getting a lot of customers. And also, if a lot of people are complimenting you, like maybe on your clothes or your outfit or those kind of surface level friendly things rather than inquiring about your services, that's a sign that DIY brand only looks good and is not functioning. So the biggest piece of this, the underlying piece of this is like, not only will branding up level your business totally in every facet, but it also will short circuit a huge amount of unnecessary drama for yourself and a huge amount of unnecessary energy wasting for yourself. You get that energy back, you'll get that time back, and you'll also feel more confident and able to be more consistent. We're currently welcoming new select commissions for July and beyond for new brands. And I am also offering totally free one-to-one brand clarity calls, which is a new offering, a new service. So you can have a 15-minute call with me. We can talk about your business. We can talk about where it's at and if branding would be right for you, how it would work and what it would actually do for your business. Now, sometimes branding isn't the right thing right now. And I hope you know, if you're here, that everything I do is based in integrity, and I'm not going to tell anyone to get a brand if it's not the best time or if there's more foundational work that needs to be done before you should invest in a brand. And these clarity calls will really make you understand what branding can and can't do for you and where you should be focusing next. If you resonated with today or you appreciate these weekly episodes, please support the podcast by leaving a review or rating. We've got almost 100 reviews on Apple, and I would love to get to 100. It means so much to connect with visionary women just like yourself, and this helps to get us in front of more.